Previously, everything picked up in the aftermath of the battle for Farview. Ryland did some looting, including 2 sky tiers that were embedded in Imbara's eyes that he immediately wanted to put in his own. Unfortunately for him, everyone else refused to cut his eyes out of his head. The group made their way to a nearby tavern to have a talk about what to do next, where Thalrizian had a not-so-quiet talk with Taria about everything that had happened. She clearly had complicated feelings. Sean pointed out that there would be assassins after the group again in less than 2 days. Ryland suggested that they stay in Farview and try to draw the assassins into a trap, but Taria wasn't thrilled by that idea. Taria then brought up Cecily telling her about the Praetors potentially finding the Old Ones, which could possibly be an enemy of my enemy situation. Sean suggested reaching out to Atraxian to help spread news of Farview fighting back, in the hope of sparking other rebellions elsewhere. She also suggested that they should try to spread the news through the Clear Peak province as well. If Farview was going to have a chance at staying free, the Empire had to be distracted by other uprisings. Around that point, a woman who was clearly from the Skull and Bone Collective came in with a letter for Thalrizian from the mysterious M. It told him to seek out Kovar, last of the Old Ones, and to come find them once the group had the sword. The group split up for a bit at that point. Tornak brought out the ship so that they could fill Tisha in on what to go tell Atraxian for the next morning's newspaper headlines. Ryland also went through to try to run some errands in Port Freehaven. Said errands, didn't go well, considering nobody there knew him. So he ended up sending a message to Sean for help because he needed an adult. Before heading through the door to give Keelan's time-traveling son from the future some assistance, Sean sent a few messages to Taria's mother. She filled her in on what had happened and got some information about Kovar from her. Then she went to babysit. The rest of the group headed to Taria's home, although Yuri took the long route there. Thalrizian and Tornak spent some time trying to help put things back together, as it was a bit of a mess. The next morning, the group all received newspapers talking about what had happened in Farview. Sean helped smooth things over with the various people who Ryland had pissed off the night before, and she reluctantly went with him to a surgeon who he tried to convince to cut out his eyes and replace them with sky-tiers. Said surgeon gave him a rather emphatic no, but did mention the name Renzo, someone in Savalquar who might just be crazy enough to do what he was asking. Then the two of them headed back towards the door to go back to Farview. Taria left a letter for her father on the table at home before heading out. Then she spent a while creating her magical steeds again for the group. They said their goodbyes and headed into the mountains, where the weather quickly started growing much colder and the animals around them wilder. And that is where we left off.